Happy Wednesday, everybody. Are you ready for a really weird night of tag team matches? Oh, yes.
There's gonna be a fight tonight!
What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz, Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with the fights on Wednesday night for June 24th, 2015, SmackDown and NXT. You guys know the drill. There's no Q&A. There's no Ask the Phoenix. There's no panel because we have 5 weeks to build towards Battleground, which is nice. Yeah, as I said, as we go through all the tag team scenarios tonight, NXT and SmackDown are very, I'll say interesting, to say the least. But we start off NXT with what was the selling point, if you saw any ads on the WWE Network. We're going to hear from Hideo Itami, who doesn't really tell us that much other than it's going to be another 3 or 4 months before he returns. He will be at the WWE Network special in Japan on July 4th at ridiculously early o'clock in the morning for us over here in North America to see Owens versus Balor, and I will be challenging the winner. Owens comes out to loud fight Owens fight chants. Here's the deal, right? There's a couple of different dynamic changes that happen in the span of about 2 minutes in this crowd. Crowd pops for the return of Hideo Itami, who's their babyface, who's the returning from injury guy, whatever. But Kevin Owens is the star of NXT. This I don't care. Bring back Sami Zayn. I might say Finn Balor, but Kevin Owens is the star of NXT. So when he comes out to the ring, when his music is playing, loud, ridiculously loud fight Owens fight chants. But as soon as his music stops, he gets booed. So it's like, we're gonna cheer you because you're awesome, but you're awesome at being a heel. So we'll boo you to show you how much we like you. Like, smarky crowds, it's good. Owens starts mocking Hideo Itami. Too bad you won't be able to fight yourself at the 4th of July special because it's at your home in Japan. Your family will be there. You'll be there, but you won't be doing anything. But you will get to see me end Finn Balor. He says he's delusional because he's not sure who's going to win. He doesn't believe that Owens is going to win, but he stutters as he says this. But instead of letting a stutter in his promo stop him, he stops himself. He says, "What the hell am I doing? My English is almost as bad as yours." That's fucking brilliant. I will beat Finn Balor in Japan. By the way, I didn't run you down. If I did, you'd be laid up in a hospital with Sami Zayn. You do, however, need to apologize for calling me a bad person a couple weeks ago. Itami says basically he's not going to apologize. You're a great champion, but a terrible human being. Owens retorts with, "If I'm going to get blamed for your injury, I might as well earn it. I'm going to go take out your good arm." He starts heading down to the ring. Here's the problem I have with NXT. Their ramp is very short, so the long, slow, dramatic walk to the ring of a menacing guy like Kevin Owens doesn't really work because the ramp's like from here to here. But what does end up happening instead is Finn Balor tries to come to the aid of his buddy Hideo Itami. He hits him with a running. It looks like it's supposed to be like a running clothesline, but it ends up just being basically a running punch off the ramp before he can do anything else. He is attacked by Rhino, which is nice. We get set up. Basically, there's a little bit of a scuttlebutt. We go to a WWE Network equivalent of a commercial break. We come back to the announcement that it's going to be Rhino versus Finn Balor tonight. Great opening segment. Did what it was supposed to do, but we were sold on the return of Hideo Itami, which was really just a talking point for Kevin Owens. It's kind of like every time Daniel Bryan comes out and everybody cheers and gets their hopes up, and then Bo Dallas comes out to remind you that life sucks. We got the first weird tag team match of the night. Enzo and Cass versus Jason Jordan and Sylvester Lefort. One of, if not the most popular tag teams in WWE right now, versus two guys who individually I don't care about, and collectively I damn sure don't care about. Start with a crossbody by Enzo and a corner crossbody slam by Cass. Cass slams Enzo on Lefort. Here's where I get into the same thing that I said on Monday. You know, you slam somebody's partner into them, they both get hurt. You slam your partner into somebody, only your opponent gets hurt. It's one of those killers of kayfabe. It's the killer of the suspension of disbelief, but it's a fun match. It's all good. Front slam by Jordan, front slam by Jason Jordan. I gotta make sure I'm saying the names right because I really don't care. Front slam by Jordan, and another front slam by Jordan. Forearm smashes in the temple by Jordan, which I try really hard to care about. Jordan and LaForte try to sort of have a little scuttlebutt in the corner, talk about what they're going to do next, and after all that scuttlebutt, they work out a shoulder block. Yes, LaForte rides a headlock for a long time. In case you're wondering if he's a heel, I don't even care enough to put a label on him, but, you know, for the purposes of this match, he throws on a headlock, so he's the heel. Enzo tosses out LaForte, cradles Jordan into a quick win, and these guys look like jobbers. Enzo dances in the ring, all three of them celebrate, Jordan and LaForte argue in the rampway, which nobody cares because they're not a team. Oh yes, we replayed the Joe versus Owens match from last week and the Dusty finish. No offense to Dusty Rhodes, R.I.P. and all that sort of thing. We get a video package highlighting the abilities of Dana Brooke, which is nice. Dana Brooke then comes out for a match with Cassie, with Emma. And Jesus fucking Christ, is that girl gorgeous. Armbar by Dana Brooke, arm ringer by Cassie, sort of anything you can do, I can do better, you work my arm, I'll work your arm type of thing. Head scissor by Cassie, boots and stomps and heavy blows to the back by Dana, who then locks in a really weird, awkward looking submission. It looks like she's going for a vertical bow and arrow, but she doesn't really lock it in. She doesn't really look like she's cranking it. She just looks like she's holding her in an awkward position, so it doesn't really look that great, I'm not gonna lie. Thez press and punches by Cassie, clotheslines and a back spin kick in the corner by Cassie, who looks great. I have Dana Brooke hits her finisher, because they never say what it's called, which is wonderful. It's basically a fireman's carry into a Michinoku driver. It's it's the best thing she does in the match, let's be real, but it doesn't have a name, which is sad. Dana Brooke wins. Charlotte sits in the back and talks some shit about her, like it's not completely obvious that these two are going to have a feud eventually. Another match I really don't care about is Angelo Dawkins and Sawyer Fulton. Jobbers take on the Hype Brothers. For everybody that was hoping Mojo Rawley and Zack Ryder being a tag team was only going to be a 1 week thing, it's not. They have a Titantron, it's good, they have combined music, and they are the not the Hype Brothers, the Hype Bros. It's good. It's a fun little thing. Shoulder block by Mojo 3 times, cause he's hyped. Headbutts by Ryder and a dropkick. Mojo tosses Ryder into Fulton's slam and the big, like, dancing hammer thing that Mojo does. Basically, it's basically an axe handle to the face on a lying down opponent. They call it the hammer, I don't know why. Snake Eyes by Fulton, and a World's Greatest Tag Team style frog splash to the back by Dawkins and Fulton. They've got the gear like the World's Greatest Tag Team. They've got a wrestling style like the World's Greatest Tag Team. Put the World's Greatest Tag Team on roids and you've got these guys. Dawkins rides a front face lock. Not quite a headlock, but it's still to remind us that he's a bad guy. Oh yes. Clothesline. Elbow, second rope jaw kick, all by Ryder, all great. Splash and a broski boot by Ryder, and what I am dubbing the Doomsday Rough Rider from the Hype Bros gets them the win. They're just calling it the assisted Rough Rider, which sounds really lame. So, far as I'm concerned, until somebody tells me otherwise, Mojo Rawley retweeted me on Twitter, which means in the past 2 days I've been retweeted by Mojo Rawley and Disturbed, respectively. By the way, totally off point, but I really don't care. Disturbed is back. Go check out their new song. It's fucking good. But Mojo Rawley and Zack Ryder hit the Doomsday Rough Rider, and the Hype Bros get the win. Balor versus Rhino is your main event, with Owens obviously on commentary. Owens is fucking great. That's all I can say. He picks on Byron Saxton and the other dude there that looks like mini Michael Cole, and the rest of the time it's just him and Corey Graves hanging out. If Corey Graves didn't get injured, I would have loved to see what these guys could have done in the ring. But day late and a dollar short, unfortunately. But he's picking on the commentators. It's almost like he's trying to be NXT's Brock Lesnar in a funny way. Like, you know, the way Lesnar had to do his apology on Raw, shook JBL's hand, but then he gave Michael Cole the noogie. He's basically sat in a chair next to the chair where Byron Saxton is, and he's giving him a hug, and hey, aren't you glad to have me on commentary again? And they constantly remind us what he did to Alex Riley while Alex Riley was on commentary, and now he's gone from commentary to competition to obscurity, so we're gonna get Kevin Owens versus Byron Saxton? Hopefully not. Moving on. Balor versus Rhino is a thing. Punches in the corner by Finn and boots. Knife edge chops by Finn and more corner punches. Finn tosses out Rhino, which is it's cool to see Finn tossing around Rhino because Rhino's so much bigger and all that sort of thing. Corner punches. More knife edge chops by Finn. Clotheslines by Rhino and a spine buster and some stomps. Corner gores by Rhino and a bear hug. A bear hug is typically a boring move, but I'm sorry, I don't know necessarily what you want to call it, but a bear hug done by Rhino is not boring. 3 running elbows by Finn, trying to get Rhino off his feet, a top rope drop kick by Finn, and some corner chops. Overhead suplex throw by Rhino is nice, and a Pele kick by Finn is equally nice. Owens distracts at ringside, belly-to-belly suplex by Rhino, a belly-to-belly suplex by Rhino you think is setting up for the gore. The gore misses, and you get Finn Balor's 3 moves of doom, the boot, the sling blade, and the coup de grace. Finn gets the win, even despite the distraction, even despite being in there with the veteran that is Rhino. Rhino and Owens double team Finn Balor, and the save is made by Samoa Joe. Please, I know NXT gives us some great shit, and I know this isn't going to happen on a pay-per-view, but at some point, please give me Kevin Owens and Rhino as a team against Samoa Joe and Finn Balor. There's your fucking money match. It's not going to be on a pay-per-view because the title and Roddy Rod, but we need to see it at some point. Anyways, that was NXT. It's good. They did a bunch of shit. They've got some fun tag teams on NXT. They've got the Hype Bros, and they've got Enzo and Cass. I couldn't give a damn about Sawyer Fulton or Angelo Dawkins. I don't care enough to remember their names. That's why I wrote their names down a lot. I don't care about the One Night team of Sylvester Lafort and Jason Jordan, because both of those teams, NXT created 4 jobbers tonight. It's like, here's your stars, here's your jobbers, and there's not very much in between. I will say, all the rumors going around about the NXT 4 Horsewomen all coming up to the main roster at the same time. It's a cool little storytelling bit, but if you take Becky Lynch, Bayley, Charlotte, and Sasha Banks out of NXT, you're left with Blue Pants, Black Shorts, Alexa Bliss, and Carmella, who are good, but they're going to pale by comparison to the people that just left. There's a big divide between who's fantastic and who's just there on NXT. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, obviously, because they're all great, they're all doing their thing, and they're all new, and they're all different, they're all fun, they're all exciting. Whatever. Dana Brooke is a thing. Dana Brooke is NXT's Beth Phoenix. Emma... I mean, I know my buddy Guapo has dibs on Alexa Bliss, and I have dibs on Becky Lynch, but heel Emma, just, oh yes, heel Emma for me could be what Nikki Bella is to good mic work. Oh yes. SmackDown, on the other hand, starts with Seth Rollins coming out with Joey Mercury and Kane. No Jamie Noble, because we hear what most of us already know, which is that he sustained broken ribs at the hands of Brock Lesnar on Raw during that beatdown of Brock Lesnar. Says the Authority is back and we burn down Suplex City. He's still talking about being the architect of the Shield. It's a year later and that part of it is getting a bit old. He kisses Joey Mercury's ass. He pays his quote-unquote respects to Jamie Noble and wishes him well and dedicates all their efforts tonight here on SmackDown to Jamie Noble, which, if you break kayfabe, is kind of a cool way of tipping your hat to Jamie Noble. Kisses Kane's ass. Kane addresses their long-lost extended Authority family member, The Big Show, and how The Big Show was mistreated on Raw by Ryback. Calls out Ryback, basically tells Ryback he needs to look at Rollins as to learn how a champion needs to act. Ryback tells off Rollins, tells off Kane, calls Rollins a gutless and sellout and all this sort of thing and all that. Kane says to Ryback, you're going to be taught how a champion should act tonight when you face me. the way they were doing this promo, I thought it was, not that I thought he was going to win, obviously, but I thought they were leading up to Ryback versus Rollins, which I could have had a lot of fun with. But we're at Ryback versus Kane, which means later on we've got Ryback versus Kane. Yeah. But Rollins stops in the aisleway and says he's tired of people thinking that Money in the Bank was a fluke, and he calls out Ambrose for the main event tonight, which is good. Which is one of those things where you think, oh, it's never going to happen. He's going to get attacked in the back. The Authority's going to jump him like 5-on-1. Not really. Which is cool, which is nice, which contributes to that stepping away from the cowardly heel gimmick that Rollins has been doing, which is, again, very good. A match that seemingly I and the WWE never get sick of. Ziggler versus Sheamus is next. Boots and punches by Sheamus to start, countered into a sleeper by Ziggler. That doesn't last very long, though, because we hear a sound from the rampway. At first, you think somebody's had an error with the mic or just dropped one, because at first all you hear is a microphone squeak. And then you hear Rusev talking to Lana on the stage, begging her back, telling her if she comes back, he's going to kiss her the right way, which is just awkward coming from Rusev. And I just know that you were approached by Summer Rae on Raw. And you're chasing Lana for reasons. Back to the match. Sheamus misses the brogue kick. Sheamus hangs Ziggler gut first on the ropes and hits a running knee instead, which is cool because Ziggler's out there dangling like a freaking wet rag on a clothesline, and he gets his head kneed off for it. We go to commercial break. Sheamus rides a headlock because we need to be reminded, guys, Sheamus is a bad guy. He's such a nice guy, though, that he'll throw in a headlock to remind us that he's a bad guy. You should thank the guy, really you should. Irish Curse backbreaker and a top rope facebuster by Ziggler. Several counters. And eventually super kick by Ziggler. Sleeper by Ziggler. Ziggler eats the turnbuckle. Sorry. Sleeper. That's wrong, isn't it? I wrote down sleeper by Ziggler and it's just bad. He's on Sheamus's back with a mounted sleeper. Sheamus is trying to get him off by ramming him head first into the turnbuckle and then back first into the turnbuckle. Sheamus crotches Ziggler on the top rope. Brogue kicks him off the top rope and gets the win. In the back, we see Rusev freaking out again, because seemingly, in this storyline that he has with Ziggler, Ziggler's role is to make out with Lana. Rusev's role is to freak out in the back. But once again, he gets a kind word and a kind hand from Summer Rae. And if there's one thing I wouldn't mind whatsoever, it's a kind hand from Summer Rae. Oh yes. Naomi versus Alicia Bella. And yes, that's my bad joke for the evening. Headlock takeover by... I tried to care because it's a Naomi match. Naomi is out there with Tamina. Alicia Fox is out there with the Bella Twins. Obviously, because she's Team Bella. It even says so on her shirt. Shoulder blocks by Alicia. A botchy bulldog thing in the corner by Naomi. And some slaps, because slaps are difficult. Naomi hits a leg drop and rides a headlock. Because as much as I don't give a shit, she is a bad guy. They trade kicks and a backbreaker by Alicia. They brawl outside, where all 5 of the divas collect in the rampway. And here's where I think... Yep, Alicia Fox, Nikki, Brie, Naomi, Tamina. 5 heels. So this is going to be fun. Tamina super kicks Brie. Nikki takes down Tamina. Naomi tosses Nikki into Tamina's super kick, but scoots herself back into the ring, thinking she's going to get the upper hand on Alicia Fox, which she doesn't. Alicia Fox hits that weird leg choke DDT thing that she does, and Alicia Fox gets the win. Alicia Fox didn't look bad in this match. Unfortunately, her opponent was Naomi, so it was a one-sided dance. Bellas are out there looking fantastic, and the rest of them are just there. No Paige, and nobody else coming from NXT anytime soon. Why? Why does WWE think Naomi is a thing? Stop trying to make Naomi happen. Bye, Felicia. Anyways, that's the only time I'm going to do that. We recap the Cena versus Owens feud from the first time he walked out on Raw to him being taken out at Money in the Bank and the announcement that we're getting the U.S. title match at Battleground, which is nice. Then we get an awkward segment in the back that I'm not really going to try and describe, but basically we see what Kristen Guapo Suave and I joked about a couple of weeks ago in one of our preview panels, which is Bo Dallas joining the New Day, which he's definitely the Owen Hart in this nation of domination, is he not? But we have the New Day and Bo Dallas versus the Primetime Players and whoever they can scrounge up, which happens to be the Lucha Dragons. Kofi and Titus start the match. Key lock by Kofi, corner chops by Titus, and a big throw. Double shoulder block by the Primetime Players, and Dallas beats down Darren Young for a little bit because he's a bad guy. Roundhouse elbow and an atomic drop by Darren, vertical suplex by Darren, and a headlock. New Day and Bo Dallas clap and dance on the outside. Because reasons, and we go to commercial break. We come back and it's Sin Cara and Kofi Kingston in the ring. Super kick by Sin Cara. Sin Cara is tossed out and brawls with Xavier Woods. Boots by Woods. Quick tag mudhole by the heels. And what I mean by that is he's Sin Cara is in the mudhole position, and all four of these guys just keep tagging, keep taking turns. Kofi, mudhole stomp, mudhole stomp, mudhole stomp. Xavier Woods tags in, mudhole stomp, mudhole stomp, mudhole stomp. Big E comes in, mudhole stomp, mudhole stomp, mudhole stomp. And then they tag in their new buddy, Bo Dallas. It's a good little bit. You got four guys surrounding this guy. He's got nowhere to go, and he's getting the shit kicked out of him. It's a good little spot. Low drop kick by Kofi Kingston, abdominal stretch by Big E. Jimmy Uso. I gotta talk about Jimmy Uso for a second, because Byron Saxton is apparently helping out with Tough Enough. So he's not going to be on SmackDown all summer. Jimmy Uso, whose brother is recovering and rah and obviously can't have a singles career, is going to be on SmackDown commentary for the whole summer. Yeah. So, here's a great example of what happens when Jimmy Uso is on commentary. The other two guys on commentary ask Jimmy Uso, "Hey, you've been in the ring with all these guys. Tell me, look at Big E, look at that abdominal stretch he's putting on right there. Tell us what that feels like." His response is, have you ever felt your ribs go around to your butt?" Sin Cara head scissors Kofi Kingston off the top rope. Splash by Kalisto and a rolling kick. The head scissor DDT by Kalisto. Finishers by everyone for everyone. Sin Cara takes out all the heels on the outside, while Kalisto hits a springboard 450 splash for the win. The Lucha Dragons and the Primetime Players win the match. It's a good match. Everybody in there looks great. Bo Dallas struggles to be relevant. He is sort of ironically thrown in with the New Day because their gimmicks are so similar, you almost have to. Obviously, you've got two different dynamics with the Primetime Players and the Lucha Dragons, but it illustrates the diversity of the tag division and all that sort of thing. Jimmy Uso, have you ever felt your ribs go around to your butt? There really is nothing you can say, is there? And then in the match earlier when they were talking about Naomi losing the match to Alicia Bella, they were ripping him something hard, happy wife, happy life, and all that sort of thing. So he was horrible, but the commentators he was working with, Todd, whatever the fuck his face is, and Jerry Lawler didn't exactly help him either. We recapped the entire Roman Reigns Bray Wyatt story since Money in the Bank, obviously. Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins is your main event. Dean motherfucking Ambrose has an Ambrose Asylum shirt. And it says something on the back that I thought was clever, and now I can't remember. It was like unhinged and on the fringe or something like that. It's kind of cool. I might actually get it. Ambrose works the arm, Seth rides a headlock, rolling arm drags by Ambrose into an arm bar. Both men trade punches. Ambrose tosses Seth out of the ring as we go to commercial break. Seth works over Ambrose's knee. Now, this is a story that lasts the rest of the match, and I like it, and I'll tell you why at the end of the match. Seth Rollins works over Ambrose's knee, like I just said, because I feel like reading my notes twice. Corner splash by Seth, and an Indian deathlock. Both men trade punches, and Seth responds with a single leg crab. Two submissions in a row on the leg. It's good. Second rope double underhook suplex by Ambrose, but not before selling how much his leg is killing him, which is nice. Jabs and chops by Ambrose. Ambrose hits a splash. Seth misses his. It's nice. Face first powerbomb by Ambrose, super kick by Seth, swinging neckbreaker by Ambrose. Ambrose hits a suicide dive on Kane before he can get involved, and then when Rollins tries to hit a suicide dive of his own, Ambrose blocks it with a forearm, which is beautiful. It's one of those "this is how well I know you" type of storytelling things in a match. Standing elbow drop by Rollins, and Ambrose tosses Rollins into Mercury before he can get involved. Second rope tornado DDT by Ambrose, standing elbow drop to Rollins, Kane, and Mercury on the outside. Rebound clothesline by Ambrose, Mercury distracts, pedigree by Rollins, and Rollins gets the win. This was a pretty good match. I didn't even mind the interferences because they helped the story going forward, Roddy Raw, and all the typical YWC logic. Why I like this match is he worked the leg a lot with the chops and the kicks and the chop blocks and the Indian deathlock and the single leg crab. It works for two reasons. It continues the story of the damage that he inflicted on him at Money in the Bank, which is cool because that damage will never heal as long as he keeps working on it. So the damage on the knee, keeping tender and whatever, keeps the rivalry with Ambrose alive, because we know Lesnar's only here for a short period of time at once. But what it also does, and I really, and I can't stress this enough, really hope they capitalize this next week on Raw, is it's also sending a direct message to Lesnar, who also had his leg fucked up by Rollins and has a title match against him in a couple of weeks at Battleground. So here's the guy whose leg I already destroyed. I'm just making sure it stays destroyed. And hey, Lesnar, I destroyed your leg on Raw. We have a match coming up. Maybe I'll keep your leg destroyed too. Look what I can do to legs. Because, yeah, Lesnar's a powerful guy, but if he can't stand, he doesn't have the power. And as we saw on Raw, they're not going to have him do the hopping one-legged F5 from years gone by. It's a really good thing. Guys, there was a lot of good shit this week. Like I say, we're building to a tag team match that I'm looking forward to on NXT. The Divas, we've got, Dana Brooke that's going to be facing Charlotte sooner or later. We're building towards that 4th of July 6 a.m. special in Japan that they're doing. We had a lot of weird tag team scenarios tonight. We had the 8-man on SmackDown, and we had those 2 different tag team matches on NXT with the 2 jobber teams that you couldn't pay me to give a fuck about, but they were still fun because the guys that I didn't give a fuck about were getting the shit kicked out of them by guys that I like. I'm sorry. I know, Enzo and Cass everybody loves. The Hype Bros, if the Hype Bros come to Raw, I won't mind at this point, because you know what? It's fun. It's fun. It's not the greatest thing since sliced bread, but it's fun, and wrestling is allowed to be fun. And then we had Ambrose versus Rollins, which, despite the 1 or 2 bits of interference, was a great match on the whole. And like I say, and there's a bunch. Rollins is doing great things, moving forward and bashing legs and making people limp and making people not able to walk, etc., etc., etc. I do like the fact that they addressed the Big Show as well, because the Big Show kind of separated from the Authority to go and make his own pursuits for the Intercontinental Championship without any real explanation of why he left the Authority. But now we've had it explained that he's just a little estranged from the Authority. They still have their association. They're just letting him pursue his own pursuits. I like that. They tied up a loose end there that I don't think a lot of people were even thinking about. It's good. It's good shit. I know it's WWE, but you're allowed to admit that they're doing good shit when they do good shit. This was a really good Wednesday night. This was a really good bit of wrestling. This has been the Fights on Wednesday Night. I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later. But for right now, I'm tagging out. Please give me more questions for my Q&A. It's coming up next week. Bye.
So shut if you're a freak like me.